Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Everything's Okay, a mental health podcast brought to you by the one and only Crazy Ant Media. You might be missing us this past couple weeks. Well, it's because we had to take a nice little break, and that's what today's topic is about, taking break. And we're happy to welcome back the one and only Dilana. Oh, yes. My goodness. Woo! Boo, 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 boo. Like, all the things. Exactly, man. But I mean, I feel like all of us realize sometimes when we need to take a break, right? Sometimes we do put in so much work and so much effort that we don't even realize that we are burning ourselves out, or we are just mentally exhausting ourselves for, I don't want to say no reason, because it's always important to, chase the dream, hustle, grind, all those good things. But it's also really important to kind of sit back a little bit and take things in stride and see how things come to you rather than go chase things, because it's all, like we talk about sometimes on ITCAFpodcast and on here, things are reactionary. So it is good to see what your options are and what is available to you when you have that second of freedom, I guess you could say.
So this is one, I just want to say, because for anybody who doesn't know, we always bounce around topic ideas and like, what are we dealing with mental health, and what's talking to us right now that we want to kind of put out there and everything. So when you first brought up this one, I'm like, seriously? Because I'm proud of you and happy that you did, because this is a tough one for you.
Oh yeah,
like you
bad.
And I'll be honest, years ago, it was very tough for me too. I was like, I could not stop. It was go. And over the journey that I've been on for the last 6 or 7 years of trying to find self and figure out, me, and part of that was learning you need to step away. You need to go, as I call it, off grid, and meaning disconnect from everything and just stop what you're doing, enjoy the life for a moment kind of a thing, And so I've been pretty good at that over the last couple years or so. Like, I have gone off grid several dozen times and everything, but and I'm glad we're putting this out there. And Dilana, I know you can back me up on this, because when we do take breaks, you're still tweeting, you're still making graphics, you're still jotting down kind of stuff. It's like you don't yet understand the taking break part of taking a break.
It's hard. It's hard.
I know. And I feel like, though, and this is a good way in, and this is why I'm saying all of that, because I feel like there are a lot of people out there, and this plays into all of our subjects so far on this podcast about the pressure and about the stress of living up to things and not dealing with other things in life by substituting work for everything we've kind of talked about over the first 5 episodes. It plays into this, and I feel like there are a lot of people out there who feel like if they're chasing their dream, if they take any time off whatsoever, I didn't work today, I didn't put in something today, that means it's not going to happen. Somebody's going to beat me because I took a day off today, kind of a thing. And I don't think that people realize how detrimental that is to actually achieving the goal and achieving the dream, because if you're not mentally stable, that plays into not being able to deal with what you have to deal with when you get to the success. And you're also not physically capable, because the mental drain affects the body, and then the body becomes sick and the body gets drained. And if you don't take those breaks, then what is the point of being able to get to the goal if you can't live the goal or do the goal because you're so out of it, you can't. And so people need to understand the importance of taking breaks, and when you take a break, take a break. Like,
It is very difficult, Dilana. I mean, we see that you also do a whole bunch of stuff for us and for Crazy Ant. So I mean, you're honestly like an amazing tribute to that. But I mean, do you struggle with that? Do you struggle with taking breaks sometimes?
Oh, definitely. I definitely struggle with taking breaks. I feel like my family, they're very social. So we're always going out to see people. And these older people are always going to come up to me and be like, Dilana, how have you been? What have you been up to? And I feel like if I'm not constantly working towards a goal, then I'm going to be judged because I'm not in college right now. And I got so much judgment from everyone we knew, especially older people. So I feel like when I made the decision not to go to college, I had to work extra hard at what I wanted to do. So it's very hard for me to take breaks because I feel like if I take breaks, then more people will judge me, even if I don't really care about their opinions, you know?
Yeah. I feel like I'm kind of in the same boat as you are because I also didn't go to college, and I also feel like I have to nonstop prove myself. Of course, that's part of my anxiety and self-doubt and, separation anxiety from people who lost out throughout my life. I have lost throughout my life who are still living, but kind of just taking, that sabbatical, I guess, from each other's lives. And you're always trying to prove to that person, even though they're not there, that, I am good enough and all of these different things. But it is very important because, like you touched on a little bit, you can work yourself so much to where, like, when you do go on vacation, and it is that necessary break time, because your body is so in that go, 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 you do end up getting sick when you're on vacation because you've been nonstop for the past 6 to 9 months, and now your body is finally resting and settling down.
Well, and then the other thing is when I go on breaks and when I take these breaks, like I said, I try to disconnect and go completely off grid. But then there's the pressure of the outside world, right? Because I get bombarded with, why are you turning off your phone? Why aren't you answering my texts? Why are you going out of town? Why won't you talk to anybody? Why are you going by yourself? Why aren't you taking anybody with you? Why are you doing this? And so that outside pressure that we've talked about so often too is just dumped on you, and then you start to feel bad about taking a break. It's like, oh, well, am I doing something wrong because I want to be by myself? I don't like, or this last one that I went on, I got heavily judged and thrown things at with why don't I have any plans? Like, you're going on a vacation, what are you going to do? I have no idea. I'm playing it by ear. I'm just going the flow, and as it comes, I'm going to figure it out. Well, you're not going to see anybody. You're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? And it's that type shit that gets in your head mentally, and you're like, why is it not okay to just not know what I'm going to do? Like, I have a destination. Beyond that, I don't have a fucking clue what I'm doing. That's the whole point. It's to not have my planner. It's to not have a schedule. It's to not have that's the point. And I just feel like it gets like, if you're bringing a planner and you have an itinerary, it's not a fucking break. It's a planned trip. And so yeah. I just think even when you take breaks, you have to learn how to take breaks because there's still some mental shit going on there. Even if it's not you, it's outside influences that are fucking with your mental health when you take a break. Like, it's crazy.
I can't do anything. I can't go near Florida without my relatives being like, "Are you coming to visit us?"
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that we're
I wanted a vacation.
Exactly. I mean, it's kind of like that. Pressure was really a good episode that we did because it links back to all of this different shit. Because that's kind of a pressure that, you feel like you are obligated to go see these people on your vacation. But in the grand scheme of things, it is your vacation. You can do whatever the heck you want to do. Like when I took Emily up to Indiana to show her, where I'm from and all of these different things, I always felt obligated that I needed to see people from where I grew up or family that I haven't seen in forever. But it's like, I would love to see you, yes, but this is our time. This is the time that I want to cherish with her and not like lead into something else that could, I don't want to say waste, but it could take up a whole day or a whole good majority of a day. And I just feel like, that it's you got to figure out what is relaxing to you, what brings back most of the memories. And I think for the social media thing for me is I grew up with social media, I guess. So I mean, even like posting on there, but I still promote shit. So that's the problem. I have a hard time not promoting anything because I go back and I'm like, oh, for example, Kelly Giddish is about to come back on SVU. Let's promote that. Like, and I'm like, I don't really need to. But I thought it was really important to create this episode because we did just take our little break because of, and it wasn't even really a break. It was just a break from a certain like a certain avenue that we've been chasing, which is the podcast side. But we've still been writing. We've still been doing some type of stuff. And that's also part of it as well. You don't necessarily have to take a break from everything. Just dial back everything that you're doing a little bit. Like dial back what's like necessary and what's okay to, take a few weeks off from. Like, I mean, we've still been putting out ITCAF podcast interviews, but not the whole show. So different things like that. It's all about dialing back when you feel like you need that relief.
Right. And I mean, understanding the generation that you come from and the social media and the aspect of that's the world that we live in now and that you were grown in. But I feel like for anybody out there kind of listening or whatever, cool. You want to take a picture of you by the pool drinking a margarita? Fucking fantastic. Don't post that you'll be back and doing the podcast in a couple of days. Don't post that you saw in Variety today. It's like, I want to see fucking beach pictures. Exactly. I want to see pool pictures. Like, if you're going to post, and I understand your generation needs to post, have it be about the vacation. Don't fucking do about the work. If you're on vacation, you don't need to tell people that you'll be back from vacation to work again. And they know you're coming back. So it's those type things that I think that you need to work on to get past and just be in the moment and enjoy the moment and like not think ahead 85, because that return day will be there, and it'll be there faster than you want it to. And so don't think about it. Just live in the moment, live for that day, because that return day is coming. You can't stop it. It's going to be there. You're going to be back. And to think about it the whole time that you're trying to do other things is just, it defeats the whole purpose of getting away and not worrying about it. And I mean, it does so much too, because every time, at least for me over the past couple of years, when I take these little kind of things or whatever, I come back so refreshed and so much more creative because you have cleared the mind. You have like released everything and you're just living in the moment. You're enjoying the small things. You're enjoying the sunrise or the sunset. You're enjoying sitting by the pool with the view with your drink, or you're enjoying, if you choose to, the company of somebody else and the different type things. And so when you get that break, when you get that rest and that relief, your creative side opens up so much more because you aren't stressed about it anymore. It's not like I have to write this scene. It's like I can write this scene. I have time now to kind of do it. And so I feel like, it's so beneficial, right? And I don't know about you guys. I mean, I'm not saying you should take a break every 6 weeks, right? You're chasing a goal, and this industry is shark eat shark, and you got to be boom, boom, boom. But you do at least once a year, twice a year, have to take that big break and go, I need to reset. I need to refocus. I need to breathe. I need to kind of a thing.
Well, I think what we've been learning this past year and what we did this first quarter, I think that was really beneficial because the first quarter for Crazy Ant was really successful. So we took like that week or that like 3 or 4 days off to where we could start to rejuvenate. So I feel like, that week in the quarter space, I feel like that's a good avenue right there, because I mean, a lot of shit can happen in 3 months. So it's good to kind of analyze everything and try to figure out, do I need to take a step back fully, or can I take baby steps, or all of these different things. So I feel like, it's good to assess things at least every quarter. So that's nice.
Yeah, definitely. I'm so excited about this trip I have for my birthday. I'm going to Vegas.
Yes.
I'm really excited about it. I probably won't be in the right headspace to even post anything.
Exactly.
So
Well, that's good. That's good. You deserve that break because, yeah, I mean, like I said, you do so much for us, and then you do so much for your own stuff. Your book, you're a voice actor, and I mean, you have so much going on that I feel like, it's necessary for you as well to dial that back every once in a while, to take that, vacation because it's so necessary. And I mean, that's the way you make memories. I always think about memories that, like my grandpa would tell me, like story time type of thing. So I feel like I want to have those memories to tell my grandkids and different things like that. So that's where you make them. That's where, of course, in everyday life, but those are the big stories that you tell people when you are able to take that break and build those.
And that goes to what I was talking about refocusing creatively when you take these breaks. Because as a creator, as a storyteller, whether you're a writer or a painter or an artist or whatever form you're telling your story in, you have to have life experience.
Oh, for sure.
If not, what the fuck are you writing about or painting about or saying about? Because you don't know anything. So if you don't take these breaks and live life a little bit, then you don't have that experience to tell stories about. How can you write about characters or what they're going through if you've never experienced life? I mean, so... And I know people are like, oh yeah, but this it's about somebody dying or it's about, this or that. It's like, yeah, but I'm not saying you go on vacation, take a break, and somebody dies, and now you have life experience. But what I'm saying is, you have that vantage point of stepping back and living your life and having that freedom to go, oh yeah, and now your space is free to come back to if you're writing about that character, right? Because you've already dealt with that stress. No doubt you've had somebody that's been through that or whatever, but you get so crowded with other stuff that it becomes hard to put that down or so you need that gap to where you can just live some life, be happy, enjoy, relax, breathe, and then come back to far more focused on what you're trying to do creatively. And in this industry, I just feel like, we have guests on all the time on our other podcast that talk about balancing, right? The work life and the personal life, right? Because we know that this industry can tear up some marriages, can tear up some families, right? Because there's ego involved. If one gets really big and if they're both in the industry together, one gets big and one doesn't. Or if one's not in the industry and one is constantly gone and the other one is having to do things by themselves or raise the kids by themselves or go to events by themselves. And I mean, it's a struggle. And I feel like more and more we're seeing athletes and actors and singers and all these people understanding that I have to step back. I'm going to skip this tournament. I'm going to skip this concert. Not going to do because I need to spend time on my mental health. I need to spend time with my family. I need to spend time with myself. And I love that we're seeing that push, that it's becoming more and more acceptable because I feel like that a lot of people's families were torn apart because they felt like they couldn't take those breaks. Their mental health didn't matter. They've got to keep busy, boom, 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 and not realizing, we talk about this on this podcast a lot, and I think it's extremely important. With your mental health, it's not just how it affects you. It's what it's doing to the people around you as well. And sometimes I think that we forget that. If we're not focused on our mental health, who cares? But by not focusing on our mental health and taking breaks and worrying about us, we're also screwing with other people's mental health, And so that's important. Even if you take a break by yourself and you go off grid and you're totally you're also doing that favor for the other people that might need a break from you. I don't even know if that's the right way to say it, but sometimes people need a break from you and they need to have some time and you need to have some time, right?
No, it's ridiculous how often we forget how much other people care about us.
Yes.
Even if they tell us every day, we forget all the time.
That's right.
And even going back to what Logan said, a lot can happen in a few months. So take as many breaks as you think you need. People on the outside might be like, didn't you just take a break? Yeah, but within these 3 months that I've been working, I've done this and this and this, and I'm proud of the work I've done. So now I want to take a break.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean,
It's all necessary, and to always just check in with yourself. That's the biggest thing. You get such into a routine, or I mean, it sometimes can be a rut if you're not chasing your passion
Yeah.
or just like, enjoying life in general, to where you are just nonstop and just continue going to where you don't even check in with yourself to see if you are okay. It's so very interesting. And I know for me personally, how it takes me 5 or 6 days, and when I start to get itchy again, at least when I'm home taking a break, not doing anything, that's when I start to get itchy and feel like I should start doing stuff again. For you guys, how long does that normally take for you? About a week maybe?
So I've got it down to a science now. I always try to sandwich my trips within like an 11-day period, right? So I take that full week break, and then I've got a weekend leading into and a weekend coming out of, so that I can so you're not just coming off that last vacation day and that next day you're dreading it because you got to jump right back in, right? So I always try to sandwich it. Okay, my vacation's over, but I've got a day or so before I have to be back to the grind, right? So I try to sandwich it in between that little gap so that I can, I guess, cool down, step back, process, get ready for the vacation. And then when I get back, get ready for going back into the grind. So that, typically that's, but I'm not going to lie, by that 7th or 8th day, you're definitely thinking about it. You're right.
Yeah.
You're back kind of starting to think about it. But that's a good point too. Talking about what you said about a lot can happen in 3 months. And then also everybody's different. So if I take 2 breaks during the year and you take 10, it doesn't matter. It's like what you said, Dilana. It's about what's right for you. How often do I have to step back and relax and take a break for me to be healthy, for me to be happy? If that's 1 time, 2 times, 20 times, it doesn't matter, because not everyone is the same, and everybody's mental health and what they're going through, or their daily lives, or their outside forces, family, friends, etc., they're all different. So of course we're all going to be different. To lay out that you should only do this and this and this and this as if everybody's a machine and has to do the same thing, that's ridiculous, because 4 days might not be enough for you. 8 days might be too much for you. You just have to find, like with everything in life dealing with mental health, you have to find what works for you and what makes you happy. Because I feel like, and I like that you brought up the, taking Emily on the trip and everything, because let me tell you something. The amount of times that I have been hammered over the last few years about why I'm not in a relationship, you're missing the point of my journey. My journey over the last few years is to find myself, to find out who I am, to make sure that this is me. I'm happy. I'm happy with my goals. I'm happy in life. I'm happy with where I'm going. I'm happy with where I've been. I've processed my shit. I don't want to be in a relationship if I'm not going to be that person 3 months from now. Right? Like, how do you enter into a relationship with somebody that's supposed to be long-term if you're going to change 3 months from now? Right? And I'm not saying that, because you're always changing, you're always evolving. And that's what these breaks are good for, is to reset, relax. Maybe things aren't going the way you thought. I'm going to take a little break and I'm going to come back and I'll be a little different than I was when I left, kind of a thing. But because your journey, you're always growing, you're always evolving. But you do get to a point where you feel comfortable with yourself in life, right? And then that's when maybe you're going, okay, well, maybe I could share this with somebody, and that's okay. And kind of a thing. So these ideas that when you do take your break, when you do take your vacation, you should be with somebody, you should go out, you should date, you should go to drinking, you should do that. Like, again, everybody's different. You should do what you want to do, and with who you want to do it with, and not have societal terms dictate what you do or don't do. Because, I have taken a couple of breaks as of late that weren't as fun as I thought they were going to be, because I have to hang out with this person, I have to see this person, I have to go to this person, and I'm like, this is not what I intended to do when I went on this break, and yet here I am. And so I'm kind of not as happy as I thought I would be on this break.
And it could be something as simple as going back to like what we were talking about earlier, like when you were going to see
family, or when you're staying away from Florida and stuff. Like, I got hammered. I went down to an area where my brother is buried. And it was the constant, you need to go see him. You need to go to the grave. You need to go to the cemetery. I'm like, do I? I'm trying to have a happy escape. Why do I have to go and relive a bad moment? He's not there. He's not there. It's a tombstone and a coffin, but he's not there. Why do I have to go there and make that about that? So I don't know, just those type things. So when we're talking about taking breaks, right? Breaks need to be breaks, and I cannot stress enough throughout this whole episode, it needs to be about you on your break. That's all I can say. I can't say that enough. It needs to be about you. What makes you happy? What is your space? What is your go-to? And then go do that. So,
Yeah. Well, to take a break from that whole thought process, Dilana, what was your answer to that question? We know he's long-winded. It's fine.
Honestly, a few days, because I go on a lot of cruises that last for like 5 to 7 days, and I cannot go on a cruise without getting the Wi-Fi package. Like, I can't do it. I get itchy and stuff. So in between, like, certain parts of the day, like you're on a cruise ship, there's going to be some downtime, right? Where you take a nap, or you watch some TV. That's what the bed and the TV are for. So I usually take that time to like do whatever I want on social media, whether that means post or like check my emails or stuff like that. But I try not to overdo it because it is vacation. But, I always end up breaking and doing something else that I really don't need to be doing on vacation.
Well, no, we understand. We understand right there with you. I know I'm trying to be better about, so during last year, I was really bad about overwhelming myself with shows. I was trying to compete with you, and which I don't even know how anyone does.
I don't sleep, so it makes it much easier for me.
I was overwhelming myself with shows. I was literally watching something on every single streamer. But then when this new year rolled around, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to watch one show at a time and just get through it when I can, because that I feel like will open up the door for, more times to just relax, more times to do other things like play video games and take myself out of my everyday life, or to read a book, or to go on walks, and like all of these different things. So I've gotten to a point now where like it's been able to be very beneficial for me not to feel like I have to schedule a time to watch a show, because that's what I felt like. Then it kind of got to the point where it started becoming work. TV shows started becoming work for me. So to be able to disconnect one from the other, it really helped. And it really helped me like start to enjoy these things that you should be doing during breaks more. So that's been very helpful. And then getting back into video games and to try to disassociate myself with, everyday life. Well, not like, from the world, but you know what I mean, especially you, Dilana, playing video games. It definitely helps, and it's definitely a mechanism to distract you from everything else that's going on, because I'm not gonna lie, I can sit down with a controller and then 4 hours go by and you're like, holy shit, it is time to go to bed. So it's like all of these different things that definitely help you, relax, help your mental health get back on track, and just think about different ideas for different things like you were talking about. It definitely, the freshness, the be able to hit that refresh button, it definitely helps get your creative juices going. So yeah, it's all about taking care of yourself and staying in contact with yourself. That's why we've both been really good about journaling and trying to keep up with what's been going on. So it's been very beneficial.
Well, and another thing too is like when we're discussing this subject and we're talking about taking a break, that doesn't mean necessarily a vacation. It doesn't mean going out of town. It doesn't mean a 4-day whatever. It could be something as simple as taking an hour out of your day and taking a walk. Right? Just enjoying some nature, some alone time, some peace and quiet to think about whatever you want to think about, right? A break doesn't mean a big old vacation. It doesn't mean a big thing. It just means finding some time for yourself during the day, whether it's just that hour walk or whether you do take a vacation. It's just that time for yourself to just relax and, like you said, escape from everything for a little bit. And sometimes that is as simple as a walk during the day or whatever, an hour playing a game or reading a book, or, that is as much an escape as a vacation. And, and you need those downtimes to be able to just focus on that. I love going and just being by myself, walking or hiking. I just pay attention to the small things, right? Like the nature, the animals, the breeze, and then I start thinking. I start, like, the head is clear, and I start thinking about things, and it's not always necessarily work things or whatever. It's just it's your able to think more broadly and more clearly when you're out there by yourself and sometimes I don't think about anything at fucking all. I'm just jamming to my music and fucking going, hey, motherfucking beer, what's up? And I just, sometimes that's good too, right? Like, whatever that break needs to be for that moment is what it needs to be. So whether that's jamming out to your music or taking time to enjoy nature or whatever the fuck it is, just as long as you're doing it, right? Like, and that's, I have tried really hard over the last several months, year or so, to take those small breaks. I got to get out of the house today. I just want to go do this. I'm going to go see a movie by myself, or I'm going to go see, hike this trail, or I'm going to go just a little bit. I just need a little bit of time by myself today to be able to do this. And so those are good too. You ever do that? Just where you escape, just quick, like, hey, I'm going to go do this.
Oh yeah, all the time. Main Street Coffee is like 2 minutes away from
That's
me.
your spot.
I'm always there. And I feel like something that we don't talk about a lot is we have to tell ourselves to take breaks, because sometimes we'll be doing something we really love.
Yep.
Like, you feel great, you feel amazing, but you're doing this for hours and hours and hours. You still love it. It's just, you have to tell yourself, okay, you love this. You're okay. Just maybe back away from it for just a little while, like recompose yourself. Because when writing became more of a job for me, I had to do that.
Yeah.
Because I love writing. But I'll stay up all night, like, I'm on the 10th chapter and it looks like mush because my brain died 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a good point, though. How many times do you dive in and it's your passion, it's just the thing that you love the most, so you don't have any time realism, you don't have any understanding of, you look up and, like you said, 10 hours have passed on the clock and you're like, holy shit, I feel like I've only been doing it for 10 minutes. Like, because you get so wrapped up in it because you do enjoy it so much. That can be dangerous, right? I mean, a lot of your life is skipping by you and you don't even realize it. And then
you just wake up in the morning like, what? Did I write that?
Yeah.
What is this whole plot line?
Exactly. I mean, you get lost in things. I mean, we were watching a 45-minute documentary last night on Heath Ledger, and he got to the point where he was doing movies back to back to back. He did like 4 or 5 back to back, and he became, an insomniac, had really chronic insomnia to where he had to get prescribed these sleeping pills. Well, going to different countries and doing different things, he was getting prescribed different sleeping pills from different doctors and mixing all of the prescription drugs with, being an actor can sometimes be very taxing to the body as well. So mixing prescription drugs like sleeping pills with opiates and all this different stuff, sometimes it can end in a really bad way. So I think that's important because he used going to work as a mechanism to not focus on, the breakup between him and Michelle, like all of this different things. So it's like, it's important to check in with yourself and to be like, okay, I need to take a year off. I need to do this. I need to do that. So yeah.
And to understand what's happening, because, he said that he used the work to focus on avoiding the breakup with Michelle. But it's the work that caused the breakup with Michelle. When they first got together and the baby was coming, he devoted himself to being a family guy. He was the proudest thing. All the interviews were, I'm a dad, and it's my favorite thing in the world to do, and I have 2 beautiful girls, and this is my life. And then all of a sudden it became that work again, work. And that suffered. And that's what I was kind of talking about earlier. Sometimes you don't understand what your mental health is doing to the other people in your life. And these were the two women he adored the most, but was tearing them apart because he was struggling with his own self. And so to recognize that, to say, I'm in trouble. I need a break. I need to come over here again. Maybe things are different. Maybe that they're still together. Maybe he's still with us. Maybe, it's that taking the time to understand that you need help and knowing I need to stop. I need to reset. I need to take a break. Like you said, a year off or whatever the case may be. It's one of those things where you have to, because even when, you said it earlier, Dilana, people who care about you, they can tell you all the time, right? And they can say, hey, you need a vacation. Hey, maybe you should take some time off. But in the end, no matter how many times you hear it or how many times you're told, it's you. Mm-hmm. You have to be the one that says, you're right, I need to do this, right? Because inevitably, you're the one in charge. You can hear it all day long, but if you don't decide to do it and don't do it, that's on, so, taking breaks is something that you have to recognize that you need. You have to understand it's okay, and then be smart enough to go, let me just back off. Let me just do this because there are areas that I need to be okay in. And so, I think it's just self-awareness is so critically important.
Yes, agreed. Right.
Yeah. I feel like when it comes to the people around you, it's hard to take criticism, even if it's them trying to help you. Mm-hmm. Like being around like people that make you like so mad. Like if there's someone that you hate being around, but you're around them anyway because you have to be, it's amazing how bad like that makes you feel. Like all the negativity you draw from them instead of the positivity that you draw from the people around you that you love and care about. Like we can hate, like we can like be disgusted or feel all of these negative emotions so easily from these people, but it's amazing how hard it is for us to pull out the love instead,
Yeah.
It's almost like we've somehow, some way got trained to be negative. That's our first reaction. It's so weird because I catch myself doing it and I catch other people around me doing it sometimes, and it's like, why was our first initial reaction this? Why couldn't it be that?
Yeah, it's like what we talk about all the time. What's the first thing you do when you come home? You complain about all the bad shit that happened during the day. How was work today? Oh, let me tell you. And you go into all the bad stuff.
Yeah,
instead of just focusing on the good stuff. It's like we were talking about before with another guest when the report card comes home and you immediately focus on the C instead of praising the A's, right? It's like, you're right. We have been conditioned in life to just focus on the negative. And
it's so weird.
Yeah. And so,
I don't even know where that started.
I don't know either.
I feel like I blame a lot of things on media and media in general, not just news, but television and film and stuff. If you go back and watch the old school shows, like I Love Lucy, I'm sure a lot of the males would come home, and females, they would come home from a day's work and they would do that on the show. So maybe I don't know. I feel like a lot of us get trained by things we watch on film and television.
But there was a shift, I feel like, in that, though, because even with the old school shows, right, they did come home and say, oh, my gosh, and there was always a dilemma, right?
Yeah,
there was always a situation in the show, right? But what they did, and I don't feel like we do enough of anymore, is they found the humor in the bad thing.
It's true.
Right? That's what those shows did. That's what I Love Lucy was all about. Finding the humor in the fuck up, in the bad situation. You were able to laugh at it all. And we don't do that anymore. We don't find the humor. Dilana, you said it perfectly just a couple minutes ago. It's so much easier to draw the hate than it is to draw the love. And we almost want to be around fucking people that we hate because it's so much easier to be angry than it is to be happy. So the idea of taking a break and going on vacation and just being happy is crazy to most people. It's like, no, I got to be in this pressure cooker. I fucking hate life. When you go on vacation, you take that break and you step back, there's nothing to hate. There's nothing getting mad, right? You can't get mad if the restaurant you go to takes a little longer than normal because you don't have anywhere you have to be. You're not trying to meet a deadline. You're not trying to get back to work. You're not trying to do. It's okay. And you find yourself, right? But in the real world, you go out to lunch and they're fucking late. You're like, shit, I got to get back. I got to do this. I got to do that. And we've become used to that. That is what if we don't have something to be angry at, we feel like we're not doing something. And that's...
Well, I mean, prime example, this just happened the other day when we went to go celebrate your birthday last week.
Yeah.
And it was like a 45-minute, 50-minute wait, and we were sitting outside in the sun. But then, like, after the first 5 minutes, like, I know I did. I don't know about you, but I was like, what the fuck am I, like, being grumpy for? Why I understand it's going to be a little bit of a wait time, but I'm literally sitting on the lake and just watching people. People watching is so fun.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like different things like that. It's like that first initial reaction. We just need to figure out how to flip it. And so, I mean, it happens just person by person.
Well, so I was enjoying the shit out of it. I was not upset. When he said a 40-minute wait, I was cool. Look, let's go out on the water and sit there, and I'm going to get I'm going to get burnt because
burnt.
I don't get some sun. I'm pasty white, burnt, back to pasty white. But I was loving every minute of it. And then this is a good example though, because when I said you need to know when to remove yourself, like, so we had somebody with us, and I think we all know they were just miserable, could not stand sitting there, could not stand the wait. And I literally got up and walked away. I started walking away. I started to go down by the water. I started to go up into the little shaded area. I started to because I knew that I was happy. I was in a good place. I was enjoying the view. I was enjoying watching the people. There's a dog out there that was just great and like all this kind of stuff. And I knew if I sat there, I would start to get angry. I would start to get angry at them for being angry. And you need to, that's what I was talking about earlier about, you need to know when to separate. You need to know when to take that break. And I was like, I need a break right now because I'm going to get pissed if I don't get up and walk away from this. So, and then it was fine. Like later on, we got seated and we got the food and everything was fine and the attitude shifted. And I feel like my attitude would have stayed angry and upset, though, the whole time throughout the rest of the evening had I not gotten up and just stepped away from it for a little bit, right? So, and that's taken me time to learn. Hey, ding, 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 get up, walk away, take a break. It took me a long time because I did feed off the anger, like you said. I didn't know when to take breaks, and I would get angry, and that anger would mess with everything else I was trying to do. So it's a really good point that you brought up, and I'm glad that you brought it up because I feel like people need to understand when anger and hate and despair and all these negative things start to feed you, that's when it's time for a break, and you need to recognize that.
Yeah, and I have PCOS, which if you don't know, it gives me a lot of mood swings. Like I can be really, really happy, and then someone will say something, and I'll be like,
just
"Excuse me."
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, "Well, what did I say?" And I'll get into this mood. I'll be like, "Do I really have to explain it to you?"
Right.
And it's even worse when you get trapped. Like I was driving people and they made me mad and they knew I was mad. And they were like, why are you so mad? Like they kept prodding me. And I'm the one driving this car.
Right.
And I'm like, I can't walk away from this situation right now. If you could just
shut the fuck up
for a little second. Just give me some time. I need a second.
So do you have signals? Do you have to where people can tell like that your mood has shifted? Are you easily identifiable?
I get very quiet.
Yes, me too.
I get very, very quiet.
That's mine too.
I'm very snippy. Like someone can say something small and I'm like, what? And people can tell from the tone of my voice, okay.
So I'm that way, although I don't have the snippiness or tone of voice. Anybody who knows me at this point, listening to our podcast or watching our videos or all the kind of stuff, I talk. I'm very long-winded. I'm animated. If I'm quiet, you're in fucking trouble, right? Because if I'm not talking, there's only two reasons. I'm sick or I'm fucking pissed. That's the only two times I'm ever quiet. So if you know I'm not sick, and I'm not talking, stay away from me. That's a clear sign to stay the fuck away from me, because I'm pissed. So, but I feel like that's so important too, right? Like if I'm to the point where I'm quiet and withdrawn and don't want to talk to people, it's time to take a break. It's time for me to say, I need a vacation. I need to go take a walk on the trail. I need to and not let that fester, right? And learn, not just for other people to learn the warning signs, but learn it for yourself, right? They know I'm quiet, get the fuck out. But now I need to know, oh, I'm quiet. I need to get the fuck out. I need to go take a break. So knowing your own warning signs too is probably like critically important to the success of being happy, right? It's like, why am I being quiet right now? Why am I fucking angry right now? Time to go. Like, because how many times do we not address the fact that we're angry and why we're angry? We are angry, and we don't take the break. We don't step away. We don't walk out. And we just deal with it, when the simple solution is just take a break. Just get out, go somewhere and deal with it,
Exactly. Completely agree, man. Completely agree. It's so crazy. Life, it's so weird.
Oh, yeah.
It's so freaking weird. But Dilana, thank you so much for coming back on EOP. We appreciate it. I mean, of course, it's always just such a good, open conversation with you. You're amazing. We appreciate it. And again, just keep living your best life. That's all we want for you. And I feel like you will continue doing that. And of course, we always keep that open line of communication. We're always here for you, just like we know you're always here for us.
I love you guys.
Oh, we love you too.
We love you too.
Talking to you guys about this kind of stuff, because I feel like I don't have many people to talk about it too, because, I get the, oh, you're overreacting, or, oh, why don't you just do this instead? Like, sometimes I just don't want people to fix things. I just want to comfort and like validation, and to talk about it with other people and know that I'm not the only one.
Right.
So it's really talking about this kind of stuff.
Agreed, man.
And that's why this podcast exists, for people to know you're not alone. You could just talk, tell us how you feel, let us know. We've been there, we've done that. And sometimes it's as simple as that. I need a podcast that I can listen to and vent and know that people are like me and be happy. Move on. I'm not the only one fucked up. That's a good thing, right?
Exactly. We're not alone. We're not alone.
We're all fucked up.
Exactly. It's fine. It's fine. Well, thank you again, Dilana. We appreciate it, and we will talk to you soon, okay?
Okie dokie.
Bye. Man, oh man, just another great conversation.
Yeah, we talk about it all the time. We joke about free therapy, but it does feel good to just sit down and talk with people about shit. Just life, and I love these conversations because they start off, but then they go everywhere.
They do.
And that's life, and that's the best thing about these conversations. And then you realize when they do that it all comes back.
It does.
Because it's all connected.
It is.
That, just like life, it doesn't matter where you're going, what you're doing, it's all connected. I love it.
I love having that, the broad topic of, but then, I mean, there's no rules to this podcast. There's no rules to conversation. So that's why it does just go everywhere. And that's what, like you said, that's what life is. And that's why it's amazing. And that's why we love doing this. And we're happy to be back. And oh boy, thank you so much, everybody. Be sure to follow all the social media pages and go to our website, crazyantmedia.com. And guys, remember, everything's okay.